leader. Last year's pole sitter for the Daytona 500 in green and orange, Danica Patrick.
And obviously she's in the middle of the pack of these drivers because all those drivers in front of her, they have made a green flag pit stop.
And a tough break for Almirola. He dragged equipment out of the pit box and were corrected. It is not a pass-through penalty. It is a more major penalty as he carried the jack out of his pit. As Kyle Busch served, so will Almirola, a stop-and-go penalty on pit road. Danica Patrick leads the Daytona 500. 89 laps complete, 100, right at 200 miles an hour. Patrick to the lead, but Menard has that big, high, wide radius through turn 4 in the trial vault. But here she comes. Danica Patrick's going to lead a lap at Talladega.
And I think the crowd loves the fact that she has led that lap.
Well, there have been 3 women that have raced here. Janet Guthrie back in the 70s and Patty Moise in 1989, and now Danica. And the best finish by any of them have been by Janet Guthrie. She finished 32nd here once.
Good chance that could change today. On the inside, Patrick, Jeff Gordon, Brad Keselowski, then Matt Kenseth. That's a potent group on the inside as you watch Danica Patrick at work. I'll bet her million followers are lighting up Twitter right now.
I know she's got to be enjoying this. I mean, the struggle she's had this year, and there have been many, to be able to lead this field around this big place. Quite a thrill, I know. I know what it feels like.
Gordon looked to the middle. Patrick came up to cover the spot. He's not going to let go of that lead without a fight.
Danica's pretty savvy on these super speedways, Daytona and Talladega. She got a real sense of where the car needs to be, where the air is, how to side draft. She's the total package when it comes to restrictor plate racing.
Now she comes down to pick up Keselowski. And Larry, this is what you talked about in pre-race. When there's nothing out your windshield but the racetrack, you can't drive into somebody else's trouble.
And the spotter in your ear, and what she saw, and I'm sure her spotter told her, the inside was moving, led by Brad Keselowski in that white number 2 car, and that's why she moved down to the bottom.
Jeff Gordon comes down to pick up a little side draft off Patrick. Who'll lead this lap? Give it to Gordon. Everybody's picked their lane and is content to ride for just a little while. Every time Brad Keselowski in the white number 2 moves up, Patrick comes up to cover, and she retains the lead. This is the 3rd Sprint Cup race that she has led, all of them coming at Daytona and Talladega. There are your lap leaders. Let's go to her pit and Steve Burns.
And Mike, listening to Danica Patrick, although she is the leader and looking at a lot of real estate out her windshield, she's looking in her rearview mirror too. She just told her spotter, Brandon Benish, I know who's dropping back to get ready to take a run at me. I can tell it.
Well, for a moment, she jumped up there in front of Jeff Gordon in the 24 down the backstretch and came right back down in front of Keselowski in the 2.
Got to remember one thing, in this kind of racing, that yellow line is your best friend. That's just like having a wall down there. Stay on that yellow line. If somebody goes around you, make them go around you on the outside, like that.
And that's what Brad Keselowski just did.
What?
Just did.
Whoa!
You'd think Dale Jr. was up there racing for the lead, the way those fans just jumped to their feet.
That's certainly the second biggest roar that we've heard all day.
Without question. Side drafting thing. Talk to me about what you're trying to do there as a driver. You're Jimmy Johnson and you're moving over.
Yeah, you're moving over to get against that car. What it does is the air there will put drag on that car and literally try to pull it back. You're hoping that what it does then, it sucks somebody to your rear bumper and you can get a push. Danica played that perfectly though. Tried to get away from it just a little, didn't allow Jimmy to put that full force there.
Yeah, but I think she used it to get to that position too. She used it pretty effectively to get to that right side door, even to the 48, to take the lead. I think she's doing a really good job there.
21 laps to go. New leader, Danica Patrick. Jimmy Johnson looking for a way back around.
What you have to do here as the leader is not give them too much of either side of you. You know, if you give them too much on the bottom, then they'll make that run there. If you give them too much to the outside, wow, they're scattering right here.
Travis Kvapil in that black 33 with pink numbers, leading that inside group. Looks like everybody had to check up in the middle there somewhere. But they all got away with it. Kevin Harvick, the big loser in that exchange. Austin Dillon now through to 6th place in the 3-car, bandaged up after he was involved in the contact with Kyle Busch that sent the 18 car to the inside wall back at lap number 103.
You can see the left rear quarter panel of that car. It's got some damage. Looks like it's almost acting like a parachute, that it might be hurting him. Not keeping him from going towards the front. A lot of bandage on that car. A lot of tape.
Joey Logano has gotten to Brad Keselowski. See if the Penske teammates can make something happen in the draft.
Well, Keselowski was a big loser too when Danica took the lead. He had made a big move to try to get the lead from Jimmy Johnson, and that's when they went 3 and 4 wide.
He was the one that kind of had to jump out of the gas for a minute, but he's got his partner there with him now.
That was Quapple you saw pull out a line off turn 4 and head to pit road for a green flag stop. We will see that for all of these drivers sometime in the next 5 to 7 laps.
That could get kind of dicey here too. We have seen in the past accidents happen as these drivers try to get to pit road.
Pit stop coming up too. They've got to get on pit road as quick as they can and get off, and then they have to keep from sliding those tires, because most of them, I'm sure, are only going to take about a half a can of fuel. Not going to be there very long.
And don't speed. It's going to be very difficult. You want to get there and you want to get off, but don't get caught speeding.
Danica Patrick, you just passed the 6-time champion for the lead.
Feeling good. Hey, she's doing a fantastic job. She's run, I've seen her run at the back, run in the middle, but when it came time here to run, she made some good moves as I watched her work her way up there, using the side draft and using the draft of other cars to get herself in that position. So yeah, she should feel good right now, what she's doing.
That's Clint Boyer trying to make some noise in the outside lane. Clint's been one of the crowd hanging around at the back.
Yep, he knows how to win here.
Clint been sporting his Kansas City Royals cap all weekend long, cheering the home state team on as they go to the World Series starting Tuesday night at the K.
Seeing it now. These pushes are a little bit harder. These bumps are a little bit harder. You can see the side drafting starting to get a little bit closer.
When will the moves to pit road be made?
Hey, just if he locks up right front or left front or something like that, you're going to need to tell me, because I'm not planning on taking tires. You got it.
Chad Knaus talking to Earl Barban, the spotter.
Yeah, that's just what I was talking about. They're going to really be pushing this. They're going to try to do everything they can, but they cannot slide one of those front tires. And usually it's the right front that gets the flat spot. And he's relying on that spotter to tell him, hey, we've got a flat spot at the right front. We'll have to change too.
Looks like Ambrose is coming to pit road this time. You can see his hand out the window waving to let him know behind so he doesn't get hit as he tries to get down and slow down a little bit. See if anybody else coming with him.
That's where it could get dicey here in the braking zone.
Looks like all the Fords decided to come together.
Ambrose, Keselowski, Biffle, Logano, Blaney. Doc?
It'll be 2 tires for Logano, 2 tires and 3.5 seconds of fuel. They may put a little more fuel in it, trying to get the right side tires on, and he is away.
So what looked like a well-orchestrated plan by some of the Ford teams to stop together, try and form a draft, and get back out.
It think if they could do this early and get themselves, since they were all up towards the front of the pack, then they may be able to break away a little bit, or at least be in front of this group after they pit.
Next lap, here comes the leader.